Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis. Now in studio, we have our entrepreneurship and the law reporter, Mark Furman, from the law firm of Tarlow Breed Hart Rodgers. Welcome back, Mark.
Hi, Jeffrey. Great to be with you.
Thank you very much, Mark.
I wanted to do a follow-up report on Deflategate.
Oh, that's my favorite.
The action continues. The NFL and the Players Association were in court on Wednesday arguing about the merits of the case, and Judge Berman in federal court in New York and continuing to encourage both the Players Association, Mr. Brady, and the NFL to try to settle their differences. As you know, Roger Goodell suspended Brady for four games. It's been the subject of an appeal in federal court. And now both parties have asked the judge to decide by September 4th, and they each filed motions asking that they win. And the judge indicated he was going to try to make a decision by September 4, but continues to push and prod both parties to try to settle the case. So they had oral argument on Wednesday. Judge Berman seemed to give the NFL a harder time than counsel for the Players Association. That is not always an indicator of a result, but he was pushing the NFL pretty good. Haven't read the transcript, but according to newspaper reports, his pressure on the NFL's lawyer was much greater, emphasizing weaknesses in the way the NFL handled the controversy that could result in victory for Mr. Brady and the Players Association. He was critical of the fact that the NFL did not make available its in-house general counsel who worked with the Wells team in writing the report, who commented on the draft, the failure to make investigative notes of the Wells team available, such as witness interviews from people like Mr. Brady, from Mr. McNally, Mr. Jastrzemski, the player personnel, player equipment folks with the Patriots who were very implicated. He emphasized that a lot of the evidence had nothing to do with that implicated Mr. Brady had nothing to do with the AFC championship game, which was the subject of what loyal Patriots fans would call the sting, and what folks from New York would probably call the investigation. So he did continue to encourage settlement. He certainly thought that Mr. Brady's cell phone should not have been destroyed. He emphasized there was evidence from which the judge could have found a lack of cooperation on the part of Mr. Brady. Now, a lot of this is the NFL is saying this is like a normal arbitration on a collective bargaining agreement, and whatever the arbitrator says goes. It's basically non-appealable.
They don't want to deal with the content issues.
They don't want to deal with the details. They don't want to be second-guessed. They very much didn't want to have this case in Minnesota. As we talked about in our last report, they issued the decision and immediately filed in New York. The race to the courthouse usually wins in deciding where the case would be decided. Minnesota federal courts have given the Players Association a lot of important victories over the years. By doing that, they succeeded in having the case end up in New York, even though the Players Association filed a couple hours later in Minnesota. It got transferred. So here we are. The NFL says it's a normal arbitration. It's up to Roger Goodell to apply the facts, determine the facts, apply the precedent, decide what the appropriate punishment, end of story.